We have on average about 4,000 weeks in this life, and many of them have already passed. Have you ever felt that quiet, unspoken panic that your time is running out, but you've never really lived a full life? You build a career. You care for your family. You chase the goals that society sets for you. You do everything you're supposed to do. But then, in the quiet moments late at night, there's a feeling that something is missing. A sense of being stuck on a treadmill, running faster and faster just to stay in the same place. This isn't a sign that you failed. It's the shared human condition in a world that never stops demanding more from us. But what if the goal isn't to run faster? What if the secret to a meaningful life isn't about getting more, but about seeing things differently? Over 2,500 years ago, a man who would later be known as the Buddha sat under a tree and confronted this very same feeling. He taught that peace is not found by winning the race, but by understanding the nature of the race itself. In this video, we'll embark on a journey to explore this ancient wisdom, not as a religion, but as a profound and practical psychology for the human mind. We'll discover the timeless keys to finding clarity and freedom right here in the midst of our busy modern lives. So take a slow, deep breath. Let's begin with a single truth that, once you truly understand it, changes everything. Why do beautiful moments always have to end? And why does it hurt so much? We go on a wonderful vacation and then feel empty when it's over. We love someone deeply and then tremble at the thought of one day losing them. The answer to this pain lies in a truth that is as simple as it is profound. The Buddha called this truth Anicca, impermanence. In the Pali scriptures, he taught clearly, whatever has the nature to arise, has the nature to cease. This isn't a pessimistic philosophy. It's an objective fact of the universe. From the largest galaxies out there to the cells changing in your body right now, nothing stays still. Everything is in flow. To understand this deeply, let's hear the story of Kisa Gotami. Kisa Gotami was a young woman who had a son she adored, but then tragedy struck and the child passed away. Overcome with grief and unable to accept reality, she carried her son's body through the village, begging everyone for a medicine that could bring him back to life. People pitied her madness. Finally, a wise man directed her to the Buddha. The Buddha, with infinite compassion, listened to her and said, "I can help you, but first you must go into the village and bring me a mustard seed from a home that has never known death." Filled with hope, Kisa Gotami went from door to door. Everyone was willing to give her a mustard seed, but when she asked, "Has anyone in this family ever died?" the answer was always the same. "My son passed away last year. My husband is gone. My parents are no longer with me." She went from house to house and couldn't find a single home that death had not visited. Slowly, she began to realize a painful but undeniable truth. Loss is an inescapable part of being human. Her pain was no longer her own. It was the pain of all humanity. Understanding this, she was able to let go of her attachment to her son's body and return to the Buddha, not to ask for a cure, but to ask for guidance on the path of awakening. This story shows us a common mistake that we all make. We think happiness is about making pleasant moments last forever. We try to freeze the river of life. We take pictures to hold on to a moment. We cling to the past. We fear the future. But trying to stop a river from flowing only leaves us exhausted and disappointed. So what is the real lesson here? To learn to cherish the present moment because it won't last. The beauty of a cherry blossom is in its fleeting nature. The preciousness of a sunset is in the fact that it will soon give way tonight. True love is not about trying to hold on. It's a deep gratitude for the presence of another right here in this very moment. When we accept the flow of impermanence, we no longer live in fear of loss. We live in appreciation and in freedom. We spend our entire lives protecting, polishing, and worrying about our self. We work hard to build a reputation. We argue to the bitter end to defend an opinion. We feel hurt when we're criticized. But what if I told you that the self you're trying so hard to protect doesn't really exist in the way you think it does? This is one of the most profound and revolutionary discoveries of the Buddha, Anatta, or not self. He looked deeply within and saw that what we call I or the ego is not a solid, permanent entity. It's just a temporary label for the combination of 5 flowing processes called the 5 aggregates. Form. This physical body which is changing with every breath and every meal. Feeling. The constant stream of sensations that arise and pass, away, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Perception. The way we recognize and label the world. This is a tree. That is a noise. This is praise. That is criticism. Mental formations. Our reactions. Habits. The endless stream of thoughts in our head. The impulses that drive us to act. Consciousness. The faculty of awareness itself, the background space that allows all these other experiences to happen. None of these aggregates are you. They are just processes, constantly changing, like a river you can never step in twice. Think about a picture of yourself from 10 years ago. Your body was different. Your thoughts were different. Your feelings and dreams were different. So where is the you from back then? Or is you just a story, constantly being patched together from memories and habits? In daily life, this imaginary self shows up everywhere. In an argument, you feel personally attacked when someone disagrees with your opinion. That's because you've identified yourself with that opinion. On social media, you carefully craft a perfect online image, then feel anxious when you don't get enough likes or recognition. That is the self, hungry for validation. At work, you introduce yourself as, I am a manager, or I am a doctor. But when you lose that job, you feel a sense of loss and emptiness because you believed that title was who you really are. Our biggest mistake is this. We identify ourselves with these temporary things. We believe the stories the mind tells us. I am smart. I am a failure. I am not good enough. By clinging to these temporary identities, we create a prison of fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of failing. Fear of losing what we think makes us who we are. So what is the lesson here? Understanding not self doesn't mean you disappear or become a robot. On the contrary, you become much more free. You realize that you are not your anger. You are the awareness that is noticing the anger. You are not your anxious thoughts. You are the space in which those thoughts come and go. When you stop having to defend a non-existent self, a strange lightness appears. The burden of having to be perfect, to always be right, to be liked by everyone. It begins to dissolve, and in that quietness, you start to feel who you truly are, not a noun, but a verb, a living, vast, and free presence. So we've seen that. Everything is impermanent, and the self is just a process. Why then do we still suffer? What if all your stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction came from just 2 simple automatic movements in your mind, happening every second of every day? This is the heart of the Buddha's first teaching, the 4 Noble Truths. He pointed out that suffering, which he called dukkha, is an unavoidable truth of life, but more importantly, he found its cause. That cause, according to the second noble truth, is tanha, craving, thirst, clinging. It's a relentless pulling force inside us. The pull towards things we think will bring us happiness, validation, security, pleasant experiences. But that's only half the story. There's another force, opposite but just as powerful. Dosa, aversion, hatred, rejection. This is the pushing force. The push away from things we don't want, criticism, uncomfortable feelings, difficult situations. Pulling in, pushing, away, liking, hating. These are the two engines that run the machine of suffering. Imagine your mind is like a pendulum. It's constantly swinging between these two extremes. When you scroll through social media and see someone else's life, the pendulum swings toward want. You want that car, that vacation, that success. When someone cuts you off in traffic, the pendulum immediately swings hard toward hate. You feel angry, annoyed, and you want them gone. When you worry about a meeting tomorrow, the pendulum is on the hate side. You hate the feeling of anxiety and want to push it away. We spend our lives chasing this pendulum, getting pulled from one emotion to the next, and we wonder why we're so exhausted. Peace isn't found at the ends of the pendulum's swing. It's found in the middle, at the still point where it can come to rest. The fatal mistake we make is believing in a fantasy. If I can just get all the things I like, and get rid of all the things I hate, I will finally be happy forever. This is a battle you can never win. Why? Because the outside world is inherently impermanent and uncontrollable. There will always be criticism. There will always be traffic jams. There will always be things that don't go our way. The problem isn't the external situation. The problem is our automatic internal reaction of pulling and pushing. So what is the lesson here? Instead of trying to change the world, start by observing these forces within yourself. The next time you feel a strong craving arise, don't rush to act on it. Just pause for a second and say to yourself, this is the pulling force. How interesting. The next time you feel a surge of anger or irritation, don't rush to react. Take a breath and recognize, this is the pushing force. I'm trying to get rid of this feeling. Just by this simple, non-judgmental act of observation, you create a space. And in that space, between the stimulus and your reaction, is where freedom begins. So we've talked about the why we suffer, why our minds are restless. Now we will learn about the how. There is a single tool that acts as a bridge, taking us from intellectual understanding to lived experience. And you can start using that tool right now. The Buddha called this tool sati, which today we know as mindfulness. But mindfulness isn't something mystical. It's not about trying to empty your mind or stop your thoughts. That's a battle you will never win, because thinking is what minds do. Mindfulness is simply this, paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment. It's the ability to know what is happening, as it's happening. To know you are thinking without getting lost in the thought. To know you are feeling anger without becoming the anger. Theory is one thing, but mindfulness can only be understood through experience. So, let's do a very short practice together. Wherever you are, just find a comfortable seated position. Keep your back straight, but not stiff. You can close your eyes or just look down at a spot in front of you. Pause 2 seconds. Now gently bring your attention to your breath. Feel the air coming in through your nose. filling your chest and belly, and feel the air going out. As your belly and chest gently fall, you don't need to control the breath, just feel it. Pause 5 seconds. Sooner or later, your mind will wander. That is completely natural. That's what minds do. When you realize you're thinking, don't blame yourself. Just gently acknowledge it, and then slowly guide your attention back to the feeling of the breath, in and out. Pause. 10 seconds. Again, if the mind wanders away, just gently bring it back. Every time you do this, you are strengthening the muscle of your attention. Pause. 5 seconds. Now, slowly open your eyes and bring your awareness back to the space around you. That exercise is the foundation. Now, how do we apply mindfulness when strong emotions hit? There's a very helpful method called RAIN. Imagine you suddenly feel a wave of anxiety. Instead of panicking, try using RAIN, R. Recognize. Just name it in your head. Ah, this is anxiety. A. Allow. Instead of trying to push it away, allow it to be there, just for a moment. It's okay. Let this feeling be here. I. Investigate. Get curious about how this feeling shows up in your body. My heart is beating fast. My palms are a little sweaty. There's a tightness in my chest. Observe it like a scientist. And nurture. Speak a kind word to yourself, as you would to a dear friend. Maybe it's, everything will be okay, or simply placing a hand on your heart. You see, mindfulness is like a gym for the mind. Every time you bring your mind back to the breath, every time you use RAIN to meet an emotion, you are lifting a weight for your spirit. And here is the most important lesson: mindfulness creates a pause, a precious gap between a trigger, like a critical comment, and your automatic reaction, like getting angry. In that pause, you are no longer a robot reacting on autopilot. In that pause, you find the freedom to choose a kinder word, to choose a wiser action. In that pause is where your peace and your inner strength reside. Wisdom without action remains a dream. Mindfulness without application is just a temporary exercise. The Buddha understood this, so he didn't just diagnose the problem. He also provided a cure, a practical step-by-step map to integrate these insights into every part of your life, from how you speak to how you make a living. That map is called the Noble Eightfold Path. Don't let the number 8 overwhelm you. These aren't 8 sequential steps you have to climb like a ladder. Imagine them as the 8 spokes of a wheel, all working together to help the wheel roll forward smoothly. To make it simpler, we can group these 8 paths into 3 main pillars of training. First, wisdom, your foundation and your compass. This includes right view, which is simply seeing things as they are, understanding impermanence, not self and the cause of suffering, and right intention, where you begin to cultivate intentions rooted in kindness, compassion, and letting go, instead of greed and anger. Second, ethical conduct, how you act in the world. This includes right speech, using your words to build up, not tear down. Before you speak, ask, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? It also includes right action, acting from a heart that doesn't want to cause harm, and right livelihood, making a living in a way that is honest and doesn't hurt others. Third, mental discipline, how you train your mind. This includes right effort, not a stressful striving, but a gentle, skillful persistence, like a gardener who pulls out weeds and waters the flowers. It includes right mindfulness, the very heart of the path we just explored, and right concentration, where the mind becomes steady, focused, and unshakable. For right speech, imagine you're on social media and read a comment that makes you angry. The automatic reaction is to type a harsh reply. But right speech invites you to pause, to breathe, and to choose silence or a more constructive response. For right livelihood, you don't have to quit your office job and become a monk, right? Livelihood can be simple. You're an accountant, so you commit to being honest. You're a manager, so you actively listen and treat your employees with kindness. It's about bringing ethics to where you are right now. A common mistake is to see the Eightfold Path as a rigid checklist of rules to be followed perfectly. But the truth is, this is not a path of perfection. It is a path of practice. These 8 elements are not separate. They support each other. When you practice kind speech, your mind has less guilt and becomes more peaceful, which makes meditation easier. When your mind is more stable, your view of reality becomes clearer. The core lesson is this: every moment of your life is an opportunity to practice. When you're washing dishes, you can practice mindfulness. When you're talking to your children, you can practice right speech. When you're at work, you can practice right livelihood. This isn't about adding another burden to your already busy life. It's about changing the quality of everything you already do, turning your ordinary life into the path of awakening. If this path is so beneficial, why is it so hard to stay on it? Why do we decide to meditate only to give up after 5 minutes? Why do we want to be kind and then find ourselves snapping at someone we love? It's because we all have inner saboteurs. They aren't enemies. They are uninvited but very familiar guests. In this section, let's meet them and learn how to befriend them instead of fighting them. In Buddhism, these saboteurs are called the 5 hindrances. They are 5 mental states that bind us and cover up our natural clarity like clouds obscuring the sun. This is not your personal fault. They are universal patterns of the untrained mind. The 5 guests are sensual desire, the craving for pleasant experiences, ill will, feelings of anger, resentment, and aversion, sloth and torpor, heaviness of the body and dullness of the mind, laziness, restlessness, and worry, the anxious, monkey mind that can't settle down, doubt, the paralyzing skepticism that stops you from even trying. When sensual desire visits, the situation, you sit down to meditate, but your mind is obsessed with what to eat for dinner or the irresistible urge to check your phone. The solution? Instead of fighting it, just recognize it. Ah, desire is here. Then, gently guide your attention back to the breath. You don't have to kick it out. You just don't have to serve it tea when ill will knocks on the door. The situation. You keep replaying an argument in your head, feeling the anger boil inside. You, the solution, use the direct antidote, the practice of loving kindness, metta. Start by offering kindness to yourself. May I be well. May I be at peace. Loving kindness is like cool water on the fire of anger. When sloth and torpor settles in. The situation. The moment you decide to do something wholesome, your body feels heavy, your mind gets foggy, and you feel overwhelmingly sleepy. The solution. Change your physical state. Stand up, stretch, walk for a minute. Open a window for fresh air. Bring a curious, bright energy to your observation instead of a passive one. When restlessness and worry run wild, the situation. Your mind jumps from worrying about next month's bills to regretting something you said yesterday. It just won't. Be still. The solution. Give the monkey mind a banana. You can gently count your breaths from 1 to 10 and then start over. Giving it a simple job helps it to settle down. When doubt whispers in your ear, the situation. That inner voice says, "This is pointless. It's not working. I can't do this." The solution. Treat doubt like a passing cloud. Acknowledge it. This is doubt, but you don't have to believe its story. Remind yourself why you started this path and continue with an experimental faith. Let's just see what happens. Our biggest mistake is to see these hindrances as enemies to be destroyed, or as proof that we are bad at this. But the opposite is true. The 5 hindrances are not enemies. They are teachers. They are invaluable messengers, showing us exactly where our minds are still stuck. Anger shows you that you need to cultivate more compassion. Worry shows you that you need to cultivate more stability. So instead of hating them, learn to smile at them. When a hindrance appears, greet it like an old friend. "Oh, hello, worry. I know you." This attitude of curious, kind acceptance, instead of resistance, is the key that allows these clouds to drift away on their own, revealing the clear blue sky of your mind that was always there. We began this journey with a question. If life is so short, what truly matters? Through this journey, the answer has slowly become clear. What truly matters is not the accumulation of more achievements, possessions, or fame. It is the quality of your attention in each moment. It is the depth of your understanding of reality, and it is the warmth of your heart for yourself and for the world. The goal of this path is not to become a perfect, emotionless saint. Not at all. The goal is to become a fully alive, vibrant, wise, and compassionate human being. Freedom is not a destination in the future after you've fixed everything. Freedom is found in your ability to meet this very moment, with all of its imperfections, with an open heart and a clear mind. The peace you are seeking is not somewhere far away. It is already here, right underneath all the layers of thought, worry, and noise. You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to come home. If this journey resonates with you, please subscribe to our channel, Buddhism Wisdom, Spirituality, to continue exploring practical wisdom for a calmer, clearer life. And I would love to hear from you. Please share in the comments below. What is one small thing you can let go of right now today? It could be a regret, a worry about the future, or just the need to check your phone this very second. Please share. Thank you for your time and for your presence. May you be peaceful. May you be happy. May you be free.